The message came without warning, breaking through the normal radio chatter at NASA's Deep Space Listening Station. At first, the technicians thought it was a glitch or perhaps interference from a solar flare. But as the pattern repeated, Dr. Alan Miller felt a chill run down his spine. "This isn't random," he said, adjusting his glasses as he stared at the screen. "There's a clear mathematical sequence here." For 3 days, Alan barely left his desk, working alongside his team to decode the strange signal. On the 4th day, they finally understood. It was a distress call from the stars. The message was simple yet desperate. "Our star is dying. Our people face extinction. We have little time. If any advanced civilization receives this, we beg for your help." Within hours, military vehicles arrived at the station. Captain Lisa Wright stepped out of the lead car, her uniform crisp despite the late hour. "Dr. Miller, I need you to come with me," she said, her voice calm but firm. "This is now a matter of national security." At the Pentagon, Alan found himself in a room with the highest-ranking military and scientific minds in the country. The president joined via secure video link, his face grave. "The aliens call themselves the Lumerians," General Harris explained, pointing to the translated message. "They're a species of light-based beings. Their home star is becoming unstable, threatening their entire civilization. Why contact us?" Someone asked. "Surely there are other alien civilizations closer to them." Captain Wright brought up a star chart. "According to the message, they've been broadcasting to all directions. We just happened to be the first to respond." What the humans didn't know was that in the vast galactic federation, Earth was classified as a Class 12 death world, a planet with extreme conditions that most alien species considered uninhabitable. No one expected a response from such a primitive, dangerous world. Alan studied the technical specifications included in the message. "They've sent coordinates and some basic technology concepts. I think they're showing us how to build a faster-than-light drive." The room fell silent. "Can we do it?" the president finally asked. "With what they've shared, yes," Alan replied. "But it will take everything we have." 2 weeks later, the United Nations convened an emergency session. For the first time in human history, every nation agreed to work together, pooling resources for what they called Project Salvation. The world's best scientists and engineers gathered in a massive facility built in record time. Alan and Lisa were appointed as co-directors of the mission. "We have the basic designs," Alan explained to his international team, "but we'll need to adapt them to our technology and materials." Lisa reviewed the mission parameters. "Once the ship is built, we'll need a crew. The journey will take approximately 1 month using their drive technology." As they worked day and night, news of the alien contact spread around the world. Some people panicked, others celebrated, but most watched in wonder as humanity prepared for its first deliberate step into the galactic community. What no one on Earth realized was how their response had shocked the watching galaxy. A Federation monitoring post had detected Earth's reply and immediately sent word to the High Council. "Impossible," said the Counselor for Galactic Affairs. "No species from a Class 12 world has ever developed this level of technology. And certainly none would expend resources to save strangers. Yet they are doing exactly that," his aide replied, showing him the human communications they had intercepted. "They call it Project Salvation." The counselor's expression darkened. "Then the galaxy is about to witness something unprecedented. May the stars help us all if these Deathworlders actually succeed." On Earth, as the newly constructed ship prepared for its maiden voyage, neither Alan nor Lisa could have imagined how their mission would forever change humanity's place among the stars. 2 months after receiving the distress call, the world watched as humanity's first true interstellar vessel stood ready on the launch pad. The ship gleamed under the morning sun, its name painted proudly on the hull. U.S. Horizon. "It's hard to believe we built this in just 8 weeks, said Dr. Alan Miller, staring up at the massive craft. "When the whole world works together, amazing things happen," Captain Lisa Wright replied. She checked her watch. The crew should be arriving soon. The team had been carefully selected from thousands of volunteers worldwide. Each member was chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to adapt to unknown situations. Commander John Perry arrived first, a former Navy pilot with calm eyes and steady hands. He would lead the mission, having beaten out hundreds of other candidates during the grueling selection process. Ready to make history? John asked as he shook hands with Alan and Lisa. Dr. Susan Garcia joined them next. As the mission's xenobiologist, she would be their expert on alien life. I spent my career studying Earth organisms, she said with a nervous laugh. Now I'll be meeting actual aliens. Chief Engineer Kevin Jones carried only a small bag despite the lengthy mission ahead. I travel light, he explained when Lisa commented on it. And I'm good at fixing things with whatever's available. The final 2 crew members arrived together. Dr. Eric Winters, an astrophysicist who would study the dying star, and Security Chief Olivia Martinez, whose military background rivaled Lisa's own. This is it, just 5 of us? Olivia asked, looking at the group. The alien drive system has limitations, Alan explained. Weight is critical. You 5, plus supplies and equipment, are already pushing the boundaries. After final briefings and tearful goodbyes to family members, the crew boarded the U.S. Horizon. The launch countdown began as millions watched worldwide. Horizon, you are clear for launch, came the voice from Mission Control. Roger that, John replied from the commander's seat. Beginning launch sequence. The ship rose silently, powered by technology humans had only recently understood. Within minutes, they had left Earth's atmosphere. Preparing alien drive systems, Kevin announced, his fingers dancing across unfamiliar controls. Everyone ready for the first jump. The crew braced themselves as the stars outside suddenly stretched into lines. A moment later, they were farther from Earth than any human had ever traveled. During the days that followed, the crew made an unexpected discovery. The alien manuals had warned of severe radiation risks and gravity fluctuations that would require special protection. But the humans found these conditions merely uncomfortable rather than dangerous. According to these readings, we should be experiencing severe nausea and bone loss, Susan said while checking her medical equipment. But everyone's vital signs are strong. The Lumerians must have different biology, Eric suggested. Or they underestimated how tough humans are, Olivia added. On the 10th day of their journey, they established direct communication with Ambassador Zilith of the Lumerians. The alien's image flickered on the screen, revealing a being that seemed made of shifting light rather than solid matter. Even through the transmission, they could sense the ambassador's surprise. You actually came, Zilith said, the translator converting the light patterns into English. Many in the Federation doubted any help would arrive. We received your distress call, John replied simply. We couldn't ignore it. But you are from an unmarked world, Zilith said. How did you develop the technology to reach us so quickly? We followed your instructions, Kevin explained. Humans are pretty good at figuring things out when we need to. What the crew didn't realize was that throughout the Federation, news of their journey was spreading rapidly. Many powerful species had refused to help the insignificant Lumerians, citing resource concerns and political complications. Yet here were beings from an unknown world, rushing to save a species they had never met. Tell me, Zilith asked carefully, what does your world call itself? Earth, John answered. In another part of the galaxy, the Federation Council received this information with shock. One counselor checked the galactic database and turned pale. Earth? He whispered in horror. That's the Class 12 Deathworld in the outer spiral arm. No one even bothered to make contact with them, because their planet is too dangerous. Then who, asked another counselor, are these Deathworlders who now race across our galaxy on a mission of mercy? No one had an answer. The U.S. horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Lumeria Prime. The planet glowed with a soft blue light, orbiting a star that pulsed with dangerous energy. Radiation levels are off the charts, Dr. Eric Winters said, checking his instruments. The star is definitely in pre-collapse phase. Commander John Perry nodded. How long do the Lumerians have? 3 weeks at most before the radiation makes their planet uninhabitable, Eric replied. And maybe 2 months before complete stellar collapse. A transmission came through their communication system. U.S. Horizon, this is Lumerian Space Control. Please follow the guidance beacon to our main docking station. As they approached the space station, they could see hundreds of Lumerian ships gathered nearby. The vessels were beautiful, built of a crystal-like material that caught and reflected the dying star's light. They look like they're ready for evacuation, Security Chief Olivia Martinez observed. So why haven't they left? They soon got their answer. When the airlock opened at the station, Ambassador Zillith floated forward to meet them. The alien didn't walk but hovered about a foot off the ground, their body a shifting pattern of blue-white light contained within a vaguely humanoid shape. Behind the ambassador stood several other Lumerians, all watching the humans with what seemed like nervous curiosity. "Welcome to Lumeria Prime," Zillith said, the translator converting the pulses of light into English. "We are grateful for your—" The ambassador stopped mid-sentence as the humans stepped forward. Even through the alien's featureless face, they could sense shock. "Is something wrong?" John asked. You are so solid," Zillith said. "And you move so quickly." Dr. Susan Garcia smiled reassuringly. "Different evolutionary paths. We're just as amazed by your light-based form." The Lumerians led them to a meeting room that had been specially prepared. The gravity was set higher than normal Lumerian standards, but still lighter than Earth's pull. "We adjusted the environment to what we thought would be comfortable for you," Zillith explained. "Is it acceptable?" "It's fine," Kevin Jones said, though the humans could tell the setting was still far below Earth normal. They decided not to mention it. During the meeting, Zillith explained their situation. "Our star has become unstable decades before our scientists predicted. We have evacuation ships ready, but they require special environmental chambers to protect our light-based bodies during long journeys. Why hasn't the Federation helped you?" John asked. Zillith's light dimmed slightly. The Federation Council deemed it inefficient to dedicate resources to our evacuation. Our population is small compared to other Federation species, and our environmental needs are considered complicated. "They left you to die because it was inconvenient to help?" Olivia asked, anger clear in her voice. "Politics in the Federation is complex," Zillith replied diplomatically. As they continued their discussion, a minor accident occurred. A container of chemicals used to clean the station's systems tipped over, spilling liquid across the floor. The Lumerians immediately floated higher, clearly alarmed. "Don't touch it," one of them warned. "It will dissolve organic matter on contact." Before anyone could stop him, Kevin grabbed a cloth and simply wiped up the spill, using only thin protective gloves. "No problem," he said casually. "All cleaned up." The Lumerians pulsed rapidly in what the humans would later learn was their equivalent of shocked whispers. "That solution would have dissolved our outer light membrane instantly," Zillith explained, moving closer to examine Kevin. "You are remarkably resilient." "Just doing my job," Kevin replied with a shrug. Later, as the humans were shown to their quarters, they overheard Lumerian staff talking. "Did you see how they breathe the air directly, without filtration? And they walked through the high radiation corridor without protection suits. The Federation database must be wrong. No evolved species could survive on a world harsher than this." What the humans didn't realize was that news of their arrival was spreading throughout nearby systems. Most Federation species considered Lumeria Prime itself a harsh environment, yet these strange aliens moved through it with ease. That night, as the humans slept soundly despite the unfamiliar gravity and atmospheric composition, Ambassador Zillith sent an urgent message to the Federation Council. "The humans have arrived." The message read, "They are nothing like we expected. and everything we desperately need. On the third day after the U.S. Horizon arrived at Lumeria Prime, a large, sleek vessel appeared near the space station. Unlike the crystal-like Lumerian ships, this one was dark and imposing, covered in what looked like black metal scales. Federation diplomatic vessel, Ambassador Zilith explained, light patterns shifting nervously. I was not expecting them to respond to our situation now. Commander John Perry watched the ship dock. Are they finally here to help? I doubt it, Zilith replied. That is a Vexari ship. They lead the faction that voted against assisting us. The main airlock opened, and 3 tall aliens stepped through. They had gray skin stretched over bony frames and large eyes that seemed to look everywhere at once. The one in front wore elaborate robes with symbols that glowed faintly. Ambassador Krall of the Vexari Dominion, Zilith explained quietly, current head of the Federation Council. Krall moved forward with smooth grace, towering over both the humans and the floating Lumerians. When he spoke, his voice was deep and carried a hint of something the humans recognized immediately: contempt. Ambassador Zilith, Krall said, barely glancing at the Lumerian. The Council is concerned about unauthorized vessels in Federation space, his large eyes fixed on the humans, particularly those from unregistered worlds. Captain Lisa Wright stepped forward. We're here at the Lumerians' request. They asked for help, and we answered. Krall's eyes narrowed. And you are? Captain Lisa Wright, United States Military, Planet Earth. The 2 aliens behind Krall exchanged looks. One tapped something into a device, then whispered urgently to Krall. The ambassador's expression changed from contempt to alarm. Earth, the Class 12 world. He took a step back. How did Deathworlders achieve space travel so quickly? We followed the instructions in the Lumerian message, John said simply, and we're already working on evacuation plans. That is precisely why I am here, Krall said, regaining his composure. The Federation has regulations about unauthorized species interfering in our affairs. You must leave immediately. Lisa crossed her arms. We were invited by the Lumerians. The Lumerians are Federation citizens and do not have authority to invite non-member species into protected space, Krall replied coldly. Before the argument could continue, Dr. Eric Winters burst into the room. Commander, the star just emitted a massive flare. The radiation shield around the planet won't hold much longer. Instantly, the Federation aliens began backing toward their ship. The radiation will reach dangerous levels within hours, one of Krall's assistants said nervously. We must return to safe distance. John turned to Zilith. How many of your people are still on the planet? Nearly 30,000, the ambassador replied, light patterns dimming with distress. Our evacuation was just beginning. We'll help get them off, Lisa said firmly. Krall paused at the airlock to his ship. You don't understand the danger. This level of stellar radiation is lethal to all known species. Kevin Jones, who had been quietly observing until now, stepped forward. Maybe to you, but we humans live with radiation on our planet already. We can handle more than you think. To demonstrate, he pulled up data on his tablet. Your safety protocols list this as the maximum safe exposure. He pointed to a number. On Earth, our workers can safely handle 5 times this amount with basic protection. The Federation aliens stared in disbelief. Impossible, one whispered. We're wasting time, Olivia Martinez said, already checking her equipment. Ambassador Zilith, show us what needs to be done to speed up your evacuation. As the humans prepared to help, Ambassador Krall and his team retreated to their ship and moved to what they considered a safe distance. From there, they watched and recorded as the humans organized Lumerian evacuation teams, working directly in conditions that the Federation considered lethal. How is this possible? Krall's science officer asked, watching live feeds. They've been working for 6 hours straight without rest cycles, and they're lifting equipment manually that requires our powered exoskeletons. They come from a death world, Krall replied quietly. We never imagined what that truly meant until now. On the Lumerian station, as another group of refugees arrived from the planet, a young Lumerian child approached John. Its light was dim with fear. "Are you going to save us all?" the child asked through the translator. John knelt down to be at the child's level. "That's why we came." For the first time since arriving, the humans realized just how much their help meant to these people. And they worked even harder. "We have less than 4 days," Dr. Eric Winters announced to the mixed group of humans and Lumerians gathered in the station's control room. He pointed to images of the dying star, now visibly unstable with massive solar flares erupting from its surface. "After that, the radiation will make space travel impossible in this system." Ambassador Zilith's light dimmed with worry. "Our evacuation ships can only transport 2,000 Lumerians per day. We will not get everyone off in time." The room fell silent until Chief Engineer Kevin Jones spoke up. "What if we build radiation shields? Big ones that could protect your evacuation ships during loading." "Impossible," said one of the Lumerian engineers. "The materials needed cannot withstand such conditions. On our world, we have plants that grow in radiation zones," Dr. Susan Garcia said. "We have bacteria that eat nuclear waste. We've learned to adapt to harsh conditions." Commander John Perry turned to Kevin. "Could we modify the Horizon's shields to create something bigger?" Kevin nodded slowly. "With the right materials, yes. But we'd need to work directly on the planet's surface at some points. The surface radiation is already at levels considered fatal to most species," Zilith warned. "Most species aren't from Earth," Olivia Martinez said with a small smile. "Let's get to work." The team split up to tackle different tasks. Dr. Garcia and Commander Perry worked with Lumerian scientists to modify their evacuation ships for faster loading, while Kevin and Olivia led construction of massive radiation shields near the planet's main spaceports. Dr. Winters remained on the station, calculating exactly how much time they had before the star's collapse. The timeline was getting shorter by the hour. Working on the planet's surface proved difficult even for the humans. They wore protective suits, but the intense heat and radiation still seeped through. After 4 hours, Lumerian workers had to retreat to recovery chambers, but the humans pushed on. "You must rest," a concerned Lumerian supervisor told Olivia as she manually adjusted a shield component. "Your biological functions cannot sustain this strain." "Watch me," Olivia replied, continuing her work. Only Kevin noticed the sweat pouring down her face inside her helmet, but he said nothing. They had both endured worse during military training. From their ship at a safe distance, the Federation officials observed the humans with growing amazement. Ambassador Kroll received hourly reports, his initial contempt gradually turning to reluctant respect. "They have been working for 19 hours straight," his aide reported. "No rest cycles, minimal nutrition intake, and in radiation levels that would kill a Vexari in minutes." "And their progress?" Kroll asked. "The shields are nearly complete. They may actually succeed." News of the humans' efforts spread quickly through nearby systems. Federation citizens watched live feeds showing the small team from Earth working alongside Lumerians, racing against a dying star. Some began questioning why their own governments had refused to help. By the end of the 3rd day, the first massive shield was operational. It created a protected corridor from the planet's surface to the waiting evacuation ships. Immediately, the Lumerians began moving their people through it. "It's working," Kevin shouted as he watched the first group safely board their ship. Lisa Wright, monitoring from the station, allowed herself a brief smile before returning to coordination efforts. 3 more shields to go, and less than 24 hours left. That night, as the humans took their first short break in days, Ambassador Zilith approached them. The Lumerians' light was brighter than they had ever seen it. "My people have a saying," Zilith said. "Light finds its way even in darkness." We never understood how literally that would become true. John looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Your world is called a death world because it is harsh and dangerous," Zilith explained. "Yet that very darkness created beings who carry light within them. the will to help others at great risk to yourselves. This is something rare in our galaxy. As if to emphasize Zilith's words, the star outside flared violently, bathing the room in ominous red light. Their brief rest was over. "Back to work," John said, standing up. "We've got people to save." The final day arrived with the star growing more unstable by the hour. All 4 radiation shields were now operational, creating protected corridors to the evacuation ships. Lumerians moved in orderly lines, their light bodies dimmed with fear, but also hope. Captain Lisa Wright coordinated everything from the station's control room, directing traffic and maintaining communication between teams. Dr. Eric Winters worked beside her, monitoring the star's deterioration. "Radiation levels are rising faster than predicted," Eric said, showing Lisa the latest readings. "We might have only 10 hours left, not 14. Lisa immediately updated the evacuation schedule. "We need to move faster. Tell all ships to reduce loading time and increase passenger capacity." On the planet's surface, Commander John Perry and Dr. Susan Garcia helped Lumerian families board the ships. The planet was already becoming uninhabitable, with strange atmospheric effects causing the sky to glow an angry red. "How many more?" John asked a Lumerian official. "Approximately 12,000 still waiting," the official replied. "At current speeds, we need at least 15 hours. John's face tightened. "We don't have 15 hours. We need more ships." That's when an emergency alert blared through their communication systems. One of the main evacuation vessels had suffered engine failure while preparing to depart. It sat dead in the loading dock, blocking other ships from landing. "The engine core is overheating," Kevin reported from his position at the second shield generator. "If it explodes, it will destroy the entire spaceport and thousands of waiting Lumerians." Without hesitation, Kevin and Security Chief Olivia Martinez rushed to the damaged ship. When they arrived, Lumerian engineers were already evacuating. "The radiation has damaged the cooling systems," a Lumerian explained, her light flickering with panic. "No one can enter the engine room now. The radiation levels are absolute death." Kevin looked at Olivia. She nodded. "We're going in," Kevin told the shocked Lumerians. "Just tell us what needs to be fixed." "But your protection suits weren't designed for such exposure," the engineer protested. "Then we'll work fast," Olivia replied, already opening the engine room door. Inside, emergency lights flashed red. The temperature was nearly unbearable, and their radiation detectors screamed warnings. The 2 humans moved quickly, following the Lumerian engineers' instructions through their headsets. "Connect the blue cable to the cooling unit," the voice guided them. "Then reset the main power." Kevin's hands were already blistering from the heat, but he kept working. Olivia held components in place as he made the repairs, both of them fighting through pain that grew worse each minute. After 20 agonizing minutes, the engine hummed back to life. The cooling systems activated, and the danger of explosion passed. Kevin and Olivia staggered out of the engine room, their suits partially melted and their skin red from radiation exposure. Word of their feat spread quickly through the evacuation areas. The Lumerians watched in awe as the 2 humans were treated with emergency medical care, but refused to stop working afterward. "You should be resting," Dr. Garcia insisted as she applied burn treatment to Kevin's hands. "No time," he replied, wincing. "Let's keep moving." From the Federation ship, Ambassador Krall watched the rescue operation with a mixture of fear and respect. Eventually, he made a decision. His vessel moved closer to the station, and Krall requested to speak with the human leaders. Captain Wright met him in a small conference room, her face showing fatigue but determination. "Your people are unlike any species we have encountered," Krall said without preamble. "The Federation's understanding of what constitutes advanced civilization may be incomplete." "We're just doing what anyone would do," Lisa replied. "No," Krall said firmly. "No other species would endure what you have for strangers. The Federation abandoned the Lumerians because we calculated the risk too great. Before Lisa could respond, Eric rushed in. "Captain, the star is entering final collapse phase. We need to finish the evacuation now." Outside the viewport, the dying star flared violently, sending waves of deadly energy across the system. Time had run out. Surprisingly, Krell turned to Lisa. "The Federation ship has space for 2,000. We will join your evacuation effort." For the first time in days, Lisa smiled. "Welcome to the team, Ambassador." Fleet Admiral Zeravex stood tall on the command deck of her flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Her purple skin caught the light of distant stars through the massive viewing window. All 6 of her eyes narrowed as she watched the small fleet of alien ships approach. She had seen this many times before. "Another group of Clarksian ships entering our space, Admiral," said her second-in-command, Officer Drex. His voice had a note of boredom. These encounters always ended the same way. Zeravex smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "How many ships this time?" 5 warships, Admiral. Their biggest force yet." She laughed. The sound echoed across the silent bridge. Her crew knew what was coming next. It was her favorite part of any encounter. "Open a communication channel," she ordered. "Let me speak to their commander." The main screen lit up. A nervous-looking alien appeared. The Clarksian captain had gray skin and large, worried eyes. He tried to look brave, but Zeravex could smell fear across the vacuum of space. "This is Captain Grawl of the Clarksian Defense Force," the alien said. "We are on a peaceful patrol mission. We mean no harm to the mighty Xeralian Empire." Zeravex took her time responding. She walked closer to the screen, making sure the captain could see all of her 6 eyes studying him. "Captain Grawl," she said finally, "I see you've brought your flying trash cans into my territory again. Do you call those ships? They look like boxes with engines stuck to them." The captain's face darkened. "Our vessels are built for function, Admiral. Not all of us have the resources of the Xeralian Empire." "Function." Zeravex laughed again. "Your shields couldn't stop a meteor shower. Your weapons would barely scratch my ship's paint." She turned to her crew. "What do you think? Should we add one of these ugly ships to our museum of inferior technology?" Her crew laughed on cue. On the screen, the Clarksian captain's face showed anger, but also deep fear. "We are simply passing through this sector," he said. "According to galactic law, we have the right to peaceful passage." Zeravex waved her hand dismissively. "Galactic law applies to species worthy of respect." She turned to her weapons officer. "Target their ships. Let's make this quick." "Wait," the Clarksian captain pleaded. "We carry civilians. Medical supplies." Zeravex cut the transmission. The screen went black. "The same excuses every time," she said to her crew. "Fire when ready." The weapons officer nodded. Outside, brilliant beams of energy shot from the Xeralian warships. The Clarksian vessels tried to scatter, but they were too slow. Within minutes, 4 of the 5 ships were destroyed. Zeravex ordered the last one disabled. "Bring it into our hold," she ordered. "Our engineers might find something amusing about their design." As the crippled ship was pulled into the Eternal Dominion's massive docking bay, Officer Drex approached the Admiral. 200 years of victories," he said with admiration. "No species has ever matched Xeralian military power under your command." Zeravex nodded. "And none ever will." "Admiral," called the communications officer, "we're receiving a report from the Outer Patrol. They've detected an unknown ship type entering the neutral zone near our border." Zeravex turned, mildly interested. "Show me." The screen displayed a small vessel with an unfamiliar design. It had odd angles and visible seams along its hull. "It belongs to the new species," the officer explained. "The ones calling themselves humans." "Humans," Zeravex repeated the word, studying the ship. "Look at those primitive designs. They've barely mastered space travel. Should we intercept them, Admiral?" Zeravex smiled slowly. "Yes. I want to meet these humans. Let's see if their ships are as laughable up close as they appear on our screens. She didn't know it yet, but this encounter would be different from all the others. For the first time in her long career, Admiral Zara Vex was about to meet a species that would change everything she believed about ships, power, and warfare.